Welcome back, everyone. The UK and Enugu state governments have resolved to partner for mutual economic benefits. The resolution was made when the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, visited Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State at the Government House on Tuesday. Mr. Montgomery, during the visit, expressed his support for the investment and economic growth to drive of the new administration in the state. He recalled that the UK had partnered the Enugu's government for over 20 years on issues like public health, sector reforms, education and power sector reforms, among others. So for more insight on this new partnership and how it will benefit the people of Enugu State, let's speak with Arinze Chilo Ofia. He's a special advisor to Enugu State Governor on digital economy and SME development. He speaks to us virtually from Enugu State. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Right, so perhaps you should talk to us about this new partnership between Enugu State and the UK government. What is it about?
Okay, thank you very much. So, like you mentioned, the relationship between Enugu State government and the British High Commission has, it's something that has been ongoing for a number of years. This administration under the leadership of Dr. Peter Mbah has, been able to, further foster that relationship to be able to key into key initiatives and projects. One of those projects being, fostering capacity development within our civil service. So in the state, we have a program called the Digital Literacy Training Program for Civil Servants. So far, we've had 2 iterations of that initiative, training over 4,000 civil servants and about 10,000 teachers that can support the Smart School initiative of His Excellency. And it's been quite fascinating to see these individuals, improve their efficiency and efficacy to support the civil service. Because, that's the engine room of any government. So, by, ensuring that they have this digital literacy skills, we can better serve in the Enugu. This last iteration that we had, where we trained over 750 civil servants, was supported by the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. And the representative, the Deputy High Commissioner, Dr. Leva, was here with her team to, issue out certificates. It was also a partnership with Tech for Dev, a non-profit. And it was quite fascinating. We had a great time. Individuals were able to talk about what they've learned and how they're applying it into their daily working routine. And it also comes at a perfect time where the state government is fully integrated into a full paperless e-governance framework with starting Q1 next year. In fact, all the preparations for that has just been completed, where everything is going to be digitized in the way we communicate, in the way we provide services to the public. All our programs, initiatives will be on this platform, and also how we provide services to the public is going to be through this e-governance framework. So, having that graduation that happened a few days ago, we also impressed on the team from the British High Commission to see how they can further provide support to the state government when it comes to expanding connectivity and fostering digital transformation and inclusion in the state. We have our broadband penetration initiatives where we want to achieve at least a 75% coverage across the state, both the rural and urban centers by 2031. So they are going to help support our fiber optics infrastructure development plan, and also, help increase digital access, especially for marginalized communities, especially women. The FCDO is quite keen on gender inclusive initiatives, and we're here to support that program, like I mentioned. So,
all right, Mr. Arinze, so you don't say everything in one breath. I mean, we'll come back to the training of the civil servants because there's been some discrepancies around the figure. But this long-time partnership between the UK and the Enugu government, has it yielded the desired results? And importantly, what makes this new partnership different from what it used to be?
Oh, definitely, it's been yielding results. As you remember, earlier this year, His Excellency opened up the consulate office here in Enugu State, where individuals can quickly, process their visas, and it helped, provide a boost to the economy. So now it's dovetailing to, providing capacity supports on digital inclusion initiatives, how they can provide connectivity and access to, connectivity and access to, our urban and rural centers, and also supporting us from a policy standpoint. It's been a fantastic relationship. It's for this administration, it's just kicking off, and we were able to agree on some key areas of strategic partnerships, which will be kicking off from Q1 next year. So I would love to go back to the question, what you mentioned around discrepancies around the figures. You can talk more a bit about that. I'll be able to clarify some of those discrepancies that you mentioned.
We'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about the economic blueprint of Governor Peter Mba. Impressively, the governor recently announced a dramatic increase in the state's IGR, which rose from 37.4 billion naira in 2023 to 144.7 billion naira by September 2024, marking a 286.2% growth. For the next few minutes, let's focus on his plan to achieve a 0% raise in the poverty headcount index. What specific area is the governor focusing on targeting?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. One of the key areas is focusing on is education. How can we revamp our educational system to eradicate poverty? And he has identified education as one of the key ways to eradicate poverty within, a 6 to 8 years tenure. As you know, he's one of the state governors, in fact, the only state governor that has focused his budget, about 33% of his capital budget around education. This is the second year running. Same thing happened this year. The same thing is going to happen in 2025. Every ward, every town in Enugu State, about 260 of them, is going to be equipped with a 260 of them. So you can imagine it's going to change the orientation of the youth. These are free. The youths are going to come there. The children are going to come there and, learn, experiential learning. They are going to learn things around IT and, different skill sets that's going to prepare them for this digital age that we're in. And we've been seeing some solid results so far with some of the smart schools that are currently in operation. The target September next year, all the schools will be, fully functional. It's quite a laudable project. Like I said, a good chunk of the capital budget is geared towards education. So, education as one of the key tenants that can help us achieve our zero poverty index rate.
I also see that the governor has been signing lots of agreements these days. This newly signed strategic partnership agreements between the state government and the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council. What is the need for the people of Enugu State?
Okay, so what that does is bridge investors, private sector investors, especially from the Commonwealth states, from the UK, to see how they can key into a number of viable investment opportunities in the states, also identify key SMBs and businesses that they can provide technical and investment support. It's the initiative spearheaded by the Commissioner for Trade and Investment, among have been able to identify key firms that are keen in supporting the transformative initiatives of His Excellency. And this is just a drop in the water of some of the key programs that have been going on. Like I said, that was a back-to-back initiative. Once the Deputy High Commissioner finished from here, we had members of that the Commonwealth to come here, sign a very exclusive agreement with the state government, because they've seen that what His Excellency Dr. Peter Mba is doing here is quite transformative. It's something that the rate of acceleration in development has been going on so far has been quite impressive. And they are willing to support some of the key initiatives that he wants to ensure that he gets done within the first term of his tenure. So we're quite impressed with Enugu in general. Have been quite impressed with everything he has been doing. He just wrapped up town hall, which is very unique. He's one of the few governors that is able to reach directly to people. Every quarter, he has a town hall session with the people, both physical and on Twitter for the youth as well, where they ask him all sorts of questions and he answers them to ensure that the key tenets of his administration, transparency, traceability, and accountability is something that it resonates amongst all the civil servants and public servants of his administration.
Impressive. So tonight we want to unpack the skills of the youths in digital technologies. Since the last time we had a conversation and now, what has changed in how this administration has invested in the future of the digital economy in the state?
Thank you very much for that question. Coincidentally, on Wednesday, 18th December, we'll be flagging off our first world-class co-working space. It's a partnership with Sterling Cafe One. That's the team, Kelechi, Wazozo, and our team. It's been quite transformative. We're going to have a co-working space where the youth can come, work from, and provide, just have a virtual office where they can, be able to engage services to whoever and be able to run their businesses from there. That is one of the first layers of what we call our innovation and outsourcing hub. Approval has been given for setting up what we call digital skill enhancement zones. So the next 2 floors of that building is going to be catered towards 24/7 skills development. All the systems have been procured. By the end of January, that space will be open. So we'll be training individuals, youths constantly on, animation skills, which is currently starting right now. We have a partnership with Magic Lab Studio. We'll be training over 400 youths on 2D and 3D animation to provide, we want to key into the creative talents of the youth in Enugu State. We've identified human capital as one of our competitive advantages, and we shall be able to harness that fully. We have our full stack software development training program with Old School that is currently ongoing. We have our Learnable program is a partnership with a indigenous tech hub here called Genesis, where we train on Web3 and product design. So that's going to be a facility where we'll be doing 24 hours training across different digital skill sets, but cybersecurity as well is something we are keen to focus on, because these are skill sets that can provide outsourcing opportunities, both IT-enabled and business process outsourcing skills. So our youth can be able to earn foreign currency, and that's one of the quick ways that we can increase our GDP and meet 30 billion GDP target. We have partnerships with the NCC that will be coming on board with the Digital Industrial Park and the Digital Bridge Institute. We have to thank the NCC and the ministry with this collaboration. Then we're also setting up these digital skill enhancement zones across the rural communities as well, because we want to take that training program for digital literacies to the rural communities as well. That will be kicking off next year, and also have partnerships with the Ministry of Innovation, Communication, and Digital Economy on their 3MTT program. So we'll be using these facilities to be able to train at the minimum 30,000 youths yearly on tech skills. So the target is to be able to reach 300,000 in the next 8 years. So this is just a tip of the iceberg in some of the initiatives around digital skills that we're currently approaching. We have, we're setting up our own North Skin Concept Tech Hub. Construction is going to start in January. We also are in the process of setting up, research labs in collaboration with private sector and academia. Enugu has a significant concentration of tertiary institutions. So how do we harness the potentials of the individuals that go to the school? You can take my word for it. We have a lot of geniuses here in Enugu, and our plan is to harness that potential to be able to create, the next unicorns in the next few years here in Enugu State.
Mr. Rinze, when brilliant initiatives like this come up, I'm always concerned about the level of awareness that goes into ensuring that young people who live in rural areas benefit from these kinds of initiatives. What is government doing about this?
Okay, so we try and approach sensitization programs across the board. We have sensitization programs within the local governments. We also have sensitization programs within schools. We try and engage the youths across the board. We also use both traditional channels of communications, radio, billboards as well, and also are keen into more of the new ways of, interacting with the youth, especially using social media as well. So we try and cover all bases. Like I said, this is something we've been doing for a number of years. The agency is well known in pushing these kinds of initiatives, and His Excellency Dr. Peter Mbah is desirous in ensuring that by impacting on these youths, like I mentioned, education is very key to him, because he has identified this as the fastest way to be able to reach a zero poverty index. So this is something that is more collaborative. We have community managers across all 17 local governments, and we do our best to ensure this initiative gets across.
All right, let's now talk about the digital training program for civil servants. Like I mentioned earlier, there's been some discrepancy about the exact figure. Some reports say 500, some say 2,000. What is the exact figure? What is the target, and what impact do this have on Enugu State Public Service?
Okay, so what we just completed was the second iteration of that program, something that's going to be going on every month, because His Excellency, within his wisdom, has been able to pass a policy that ensures that for civil servants to be considered for their yearly promotion, they must go through this digital skills training program. So it incentivizes them to take it seriously. The first iteration we had, we trained about 2,500. This last batch in partnership with FCDO was about 750. We've also had separate training programs of about 1,250 in conjunction with the Ministry of Education for the first iteration of what we call training the teachers for the Smart School Initiative, which are also civil servants. And that's continued over a 6 to 8 week period where we're able to train an additional 10,000. So we are picking the best of the best from there that will act as teachers for the Smart School Initiative. So in total, we've done 4,000 civil servants, 10,000 teachers, which are also civil servants. But there is a category of pass mark you have to reach to be able to be considered that you've passed. Those individuals that don't meet that pass mark will be able to join the next version of that training, because it's going to be going on every month. We have digital skills centers in state-owned universities like IMT, ESSET, as well as ESUT as well. So we use the ICT labs to train our civil servants here. And we're also partnering with the private sector to be able to use their facilities so we can expand this across the state. So, the proximity to where you live, you're not restrained by that. You might be a civil servant serving in Nsukka, we have the location for you there. So you don't always have to come to the metropolis. So there's a difference between the number of people trained and the number of people that have met the pass mark. But we also go back to those individuals that have not met the pass mark. We look at the results that we get from our partners, understand where they have their bottlenecks, and devise a new program for them that fits their nuances, so that they can be able to they can be able to reach the next level. So we have the beginner to intermediary, then the individuals that pass that will continue to the next phase of that as another batch are starting their beginner stages. So it's something that's going to be ongoing and continuous.
All right, let's stay on that, Mr. Arinze. Let's stay on that, because I remember the last time you were on the program, we talked about talent development and what the government is doing to catch them young, especially by integrating ICT into secondary school curriculum. And I was very concerned about plans to collaborate with the Ministry of Education. And you said there were plans in place. So how well have these plans been executed?
As the Federal Ministry of Education or the State Ministry? Sorry.
Yes.
Which one? Federal or state?
Federal and state,
Federal.
Both. Yes.
So the State Ministry of Education is the ministry that is spearheading this. This is under the Commissioner for Education, Professor Wambweze. He has been doing a lot of extraordinary work in bringing experiential learning to the state and to the youths as well. And they've been doing a lot of work in ensuring that the Smart School Initiative follows a K-12 kind of program while adopting that kind of methodology. Then also from SS1 to SS3, they have a separate curriculum for them as well. And they also have collaborations with federal, UBEC. They were recently, the management of UBEC was recently in the state to award His Excellency on the transformative work he has been doing in that space. And it's something that they are looking to adopt across the region and possibly across Nigeria. So I'm pretty sure, there are key collaborations with federal, especially in supporting on the infrastructure development of these smart schools across the 260 wards in Enugu State.
All right, then. So let's talk about ease of doing business in Enugu State. What is it like as we speak?
So the number of initiatives that His Excellency Dr. Peter Amba has been able to put in place has ensured that businesses can come to Enugu and thrive. Just had a session today with the Secretary to State Government, Professor Chidebere Onya, and it was elucidating on how a number of in the diaspora are keen to come back to Enugu to provide their services and see how they can support because of these enabling environments initiatives that have been put in place. For example, His Excellency just commissioned the Enugu GIS, it's called NGIS, where within 2-3 days you can be able to get your CFO, which is quite laudable. A lot of funds were invested into this. From a security standpoint, there have been investments in AI-powered CCTV cameras that, on the one hand, can support in driving up IGR in terms of reading the license plates of vehicles to know, where they are in terms of their registration of their vehicles, but also be pinpointing hotbed locations and identifying individuals that might be of a security threat. So that's easing the livability in the states. A lot of people are moving back to Enugu because of the key infrastructural developments that have been going on. I can tell you authoritatively, we have over 1,000 projects that are currently ongoing, and they will be all met to fruition. And all these projects continue to ease the livability in the states. We're setting on the smart estate, the Enugu smart estates, right, where diasporans are keen to come back home. So just to wrap that up, a lot has been done in ease of doing business in the states, and as reflected in the rankings, Southeast rankings of ease of doing business.
All right, then, Mr. Arinze, from us here, we wish the governor all the very best. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Special Advisor to Enugu State Governor on digital economy and SME development. Thank you very much for joining us. Arinze Chilo Ofia. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.